The story begins amidst the Japanese peaks of Mount Tobi, where a fierce battle took place between revolutionaries and the army. The revolutionaries were a group of samurai warriors led by a man named Hito. Hito was a master swordsman, and he and his followers had wiped out half of the army. Suddenly, a powerful young man appeared out of nowhere and swiftly destroyed all the samurai warriors. This young man, named Rurouni Kenshin, had one goal: to end the war completely, as many people had already suffered. The army won due to Kenshin's help. Hito was furious with him and wanted to kill him, but Kenshin struck his sword into the ground, stating that he hated killing innocents and did what he did solely to end the war. Hito was deeply impressed by him. Hours later, we learn that a samurai warrior is still alive, having emerged from among the dead. This warrior's eyes had turned black from the suffering he endured, and his only goal was to eliminate Rurouni Kenshin and take revenge for what he had done. Meanwhile, Kenshin rejoiced because peace had come to all of Japan, and the war was over. Here, we learn that the new army general is named Yagamai and is known for his tremendous strength and strictness. As soon as Kenshin arrived in the city streets, he felt great happiness and had a wonderful time in the market. But as he was eating alone, he was surprised by a girl named Maiko who aggressively attacked him. Maiko thought Kenshin was one of the revolutionaries, but Kenshin skillfully dodged her attack and informed her that he was a peaceful person. He also showed her his unique sword, which confirmed his identity to Maiko, as the revolutionaries' swords looked different. In the end, Maiko left. At that time, Officer Jin, the city's police chief, discovered that an unknown fighter was eliminating the wealthy. So he went to inform Karo, the richest man in the city, but Karo was treacherous and hated the poor. Officer Jin warned him that the unknown killer might eliminate him, but Karo and his followers mocked him and didn't listen. After Officer Jin left, Karo learned that one of his servants, Megami, had escaped and they didn't know where she went, so he became furious and ordered Shin to search for her. Shin is the samurai warrior with the black eyes who survived the war but now works for Karo for money. At that moment, Megami was at the police station and decided to report her neighbor for using his money for evil and having an entire army of thugs. But suddenly, Shin attacked the owner of the place and began eliminating the guards one by one. Megami felt terrified and fled in seconds. From here, Shin destroyed everything in his path because he is a professional samurai with no equal. Moreover, if he looked at anyone with his black eyes, he could freeze them in place with fear. As soon as Shin finished off all the soldiers, he discovered that Megami had fled. At that time, Maiko, the girl who attacked Kenshin in the market, was walking by herself and noticed a severely wounded soldier who couldn't move. She also happened to glimpse Shin and told him he was a criminal, ordering him to stop. Of course, Shin told her she was a weak girl with a useless wooden sword. He grabbed her arm and was about to finish her off, but suddenly Kenshin appeared and saved her at the last moment. Shin told Kenshin that he was responsible for the samurai's loss in the war and that he would take revenge on him someday. But Kenshin had to withdraw because Maiko was injured and needed immediate treatment. After a short while, Kenshin brought Maiko to her house, where he discovered she lived in a sword fighting training school. Maiko said that her father was a famous fighter with hundreds of students, but he died in the war. Kenshin apologized to her, saying that the war had harmed many people and caused thousands of deaths. Unfortunately, Maiko became angry remembering her father's death and expelled Kenshin from the school, calling him a mere mercenary. Later, we meet Yahiko, Maiko's younger brother. As soon as he met her, he began training with her at their father's school. But suddenly, a group of thugs appeared. These thugs hated Maiko's father because he used to crush them before he died. So they started breaking the school and assaulting it, and they beat her brother Yahiko. Of course, Maiko tried to stop them but to no avail and felt desperate. Here, Kenshin appeared and asked for his dull sword to defeat them. Indeed, Kenshin fought the thugs using only his hands because he was skilled in Japanese karate. Moreover, he possessed tremendous speed and strength and could control his enemies with unmatched skill. In the end, Kenshin crushed the thugs, and Maiko and her brother were extremely impressed. But suddenly, the villagers and the police appeared and arrested the thugs. Here, Kenshin said that he was the cause of all this chaos to keep Maiko out of any trouble. So Maiko thanked him for his help and apologized for treating him disrespectfully. Unfortunately, Kenshin was taken to prison and spent several days there. As he was sleeping, he suddenly woke up because it was raining heavily and his clothes were soaked. Here, Officer Jin appeared and welcomed him. Jin was one of the soldiers who fought in the battle against the revolutionaries and thanked Kenshin for helping them. Then he took him to meet the army commander, General Yagamai. General Yagamai told Kenshin that there was a crazy samurai fighter named Shin, whose eyes were black, and he was destroying anyone in his path. They needed his help to arrest him. Kenshin refused because he didn't want to fight anyone else. Here, Officer Jin got angry and told him he had become weak and useless. He also attacked him fiercely, but surprisingly, Kenshin only defended himself until his shoulder was dislocated. Here, General Yagamai stopped the fight and told Kenshin he was free from prison. As soon as Kenshin left, he was surprised to find Maiko waiting for him, asking him to live in her father's school instead of sleeping on the streets. At first, Kenshin refused, but he eventually agreed because the rain was heavy and he might get sick. At this time, Megami, Karo's servant, was feeling very cold and accidentally bumped into Yahiko, Maiko's brother, and asked him to help her in any way. After a short while, Kenshin and Maiko finally arrived home. As they were talking with Yahiko, Megami appeared and welcomed them, thanking Maiko because her brother had helped her and provided her shelter from the rain. Maiko thanked Kenshin for the second time and gave him her father's clothes instead of his soaked ones. Kenshin was happy and felt like a new person. At night, Yahiko, Kenshin, Megami, and Maiko went to have dinner and enjoy themselves, but suddenly Karo appeared. Of course, Megami tried to hide in any way because she was his servant and had escaped from him. As soon as Karo entered the restaurant, he began looking for Kenshin. When he found him, he offered him a large sum of money to work for him because he was a strong fighter. But Kenshin refused his offer and said he wanted to eat in peace. So Karo, the scoundrel, stepped on his food and kept insulting him. Here, an unknown young man named Dunga stormed the place. Dunga said that if he defeated Kenshin in a fight, he would take the money and work for Karo instead. Dunga knew Kenshin from a long time ago because they had trained together in sword fighting and were dear friends. At the beginning of the fight, we learned that Dunga uses a giant sword that destroys anything in its path. So Kenshin said they had to stop the battle because many people would be hurt. Unfortunately, Dunga didn't listen and acted like a madman. So Kenshin stood face to face with him and told him that if he drew his sword, he would finish him off in seconds, and asked him to leave instead of killing himself for money. Of course, Dunga was convinced by his words because he had trained with him and understood his true strength. In the end, Dunga withdrew, and Maiko and Kenshin returned to eating in the restaurant. Meanwhile, Karo ordered his followers to watch out because Kenshin was an unrivaled strong fighter. At this time, Shin, the black-eyed samurai, continued to mercilessly kill innocents because he wanted to reach Kenshin by any means and take revenge on him. The next day, Officer Jin arrived at the crime scene and saw the victims. He knew that Shin had killed them and told Kenshin that he had to help him arrest him, otherwise people would die every day for no reason. But by chance, Kenshin glimpsed a girl crying over her deceased husband and remembered the old days when he worked as a hitman and went to eliminate a group of criminals in cold blood. Indeed, Kenshin defeated them all and completed his mission, but one of them got up again. Kenshin continued to fight until they wounded him. Of course, Kenshin was extremely angry and finished him off completely, but he discovered that the young man he killed had a wife who cried bitterly over him. So he realized that even if he was only fighting criminals, he might be harming innocent people. While Kenshin was remembering the past, Maiko called out to him and asked him to come because dinner was ready, so he felt happy and went home. At that time, the treacherous Karo bought a deadly weapon from the English soldiers and said that the time had come to spread illicit goods throughout Japan and control the government with an iron fist because he would become very rich and no one would be able to stop him. As for Shin, the black-eyed samurai, he prepared himself for the final battle against Kenshin. The next day, Maiko and her brother were preparing lunch with Kenshin and Yahiko, but suddenly the neighbors called them and asked for their help immediately. Unfortunately, the neighbor's daughter suddenly fell ill and lost consciousness due to poison. Here, Megami felt anxious and ran to the town's well. When she drank from it, she realized that Karo had put poison in it to take revenge on her. Even Dunga attended with his sister and was worried because she had been poisoned. Indeed, everyone who drank from the town's well was poisoned and their health deteriorated significantly. But fortunately, Megami knew the antidote to the poison because she had worked for Karo before and was able to help the innocents and treat them. So Kenshin went to her and said that he knew she was a follower of Karo and had escaped from him, but he thanked her for treating the poisoned people. Here, Megami felt deeply sad because she had helped Karo mix illicit goods and distribute them to innocent young people. But Kenshin asked her to forgive herself and forget the past. The next day, Kenshin decided to meet Karo to teach him a lesson. Even Dunga followed him and wanted to take revenge for his poisoned sister, but Maiko gave him a message and informed him that Megami had surrendered herself to Karo again. So Kenshin asked him to take care of his sister and he and Dunga set off on their way. At this time, Megami reached Karo, and as soon as she met him, she tried to catch him off guard and was about to finish him off, but a masked fighter among his followers saved him at the last moment. Of course, Karo was furious and was about to finish Megami, but he heard the sound of fighting outside the house. Here, Shin knew that Kenshin was close to him and prepared for battle. Indeed, Kenshin and Dunga stormed Karo's house and began fighting with hundreds of guards. Kenshin used a dull sword so as not to kill anyone and was able to overcome everyone with his speed and high skill. As for Dunga, he used a giant sword and crushed everyone due to his immense strength and destructive blows. Here, the treacherous Karo appeared and threatened them with Megami, throwing money at his guards to make them fight again. After that, he and his followers fled. Meanwhile, Kenshin and Dunga finished the battle with difficulty and broke down the building's doors, but they were surprised by one of Karo's personal guards. So Dunga went upstairs and was surprised by the masked fighter, but as soon as he removed his mask, we learned that he was the brother of one of the criminals Kenshin had killed a long time ago and wanted to take revenge on him. Moreover, he opened fire on him using the pistols Karo bought from the English. But fortunately, Kenshin's reaction was faster than lightning, and he was able able to dodge all his blows and block him with his sword. In the end, the weapons ran out of bullets, and Kenshin began dueling the masked fighter. The fight between them was terrible, but over time, Kenshin dominated his opponent and won the battle. As for Dunga, he fought Karo's personal guard, and the two destroyed the place around them with their tremendous strength to the extent that they took a break in the middle of the fight to eat and drink. After that, they went back to fighting fiercely. In the end, Dunga was able to defeat the guard and completely destroy him. Then he met Kenshin, and the two decided to confront Karo face to face. But as soon as they approached his room, they were surprised by countless bullets because the treacherous Karo had a destructive machine gun he bought from the English and would not spare anyone in his path. Here, Officer Jin appeared and asked Kenshin and Dunga to distract Karo, and he would catch him off guard. Indeed, Dunga and Kenshin pretended to surrender, but Dunga threw a raw egg at Karo's head. So Officer Jin jumped with lightning speed and was able to catch him in the end. Meanwhile, Kenshin finally rescued Megami, but he learned from her that Shin, the black-eyed samurai, had kidnapped Maiko and hidden her in the forest, and was abusing her. After that, he attacked fiercely, but Kenshin only defended himself. Moreover, his sword was dull, and it was impossible for him to kill anyone. Here, the treacherous Shin looked at Maiko with his black eyes and froze her in place with fear and told Kenshin that she would die if he didn't kill him with his full power. So Kenshin became extremely angry and showed his true skills because he had to save Maiko by any means. In the end, Kenshin crushed Shin and used a sharp sword to finish him off completely, but Maiko screamed and asked him not to return to killing again and to stick to his way of defending the innocent. Although Kenshin spared Shin tried to catch him off guard, so Kenshin struck his sword into his stomach, making him kill himself. Then he rescued Maiko and decided to take her back to the village to treat her wounds. This was the summary of the movie. Subscribe to receive the strongest summaries every day, and I will see you soon.